And we are live. Welcome back to Real Chill Conversations. We have Brenna in the building.
What's up, everybody?
I'm glad you're joining us today.
Of
And
course.
we're back, y'all. So today we're going to be talking about is everything romance. Well, no, it's everyday romance realistic or just a fairy tale?
Right.
This is a good one. And
I'm
I
s- and
think sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say I'm really glad that that we're having this conversation tonight. It's just funny how we could just be having everyday conversations like we normally do just about life stuff. And then we're like, you know what? We should talk about that. And we're like, yeah, I like that. And it's like the more that we start talking about it, then it's like, and then we could this and then ask this, and then we'll have these questions. And when we were sharing the post, we're like, we want you guys to join us and like share your thoughts, drop your comments. So I am really excited to talk about this today.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about. Let's talk about it. Let's bring it to the platform.
Bring it to the platform. And again, like I just wanted to make a point of just saying how like, you and we're friends, we've been friends. So we have conversations, we talk about everyday things, everyday life things. And I don't even remember how it came about. Oh, yes, I do. I was talking about the fact that my anniversary was coming up and,
Yes.
you were like, "Oh, and you could do this," and you're, like, giving me some, like, suggestions and things like that, and I was talking to you about, the kinds of things that, he, like, does for me, and we were like, "You know what? We should talk about that. Like, do people still do that, or, like, is it dead?" And then I said, "You know what? People should continue to be still dating each other. Like, just because you've taken your relationship to the next level, whether or not you were simply boyfriend and girlfriend, if you've decided to commit to one another and decide to stop seeing other people, or if you moved in together, or you become the proud parents of a bouncing bundle of joy, or you've decided to get married, like whatever the case may be, when you escalate your relationship and take it, to the next step, which means you're much more committed and you're much more serious about it. I think that it's even more important than ever to maintain the things that you were doing that brought you together in the first place. Why do we stop doing those things?
I love that question. I love that question. This is, and y'all know I can get into this. And I know in a previous episode, we kind of like touched on this topic a little bit,
Yeah.
but we're definitely going to get into it today.
Yeah. We
And
touched on it and we said, oh, that's a topic for a whole nother day. Well, here it is, a whole nother day. We've got the time and we've got the topic. So we definitely gonna talk about it.
and let's do it. And the short answer is yes. Yes. It can be realistic. It can be realistic.
Absolutely.
Now, is it like the movies realistic or the telenovelas? Soap
I
operas
love
for
the
those who don't
telenovelas.
know. The soap operas, I don't think so. I
Yeah,
don't think so. My personal opinion, I just don't. Um, because it's real life. We're in real life.
we're
So
in real
let's get
life.
into it.
We're
In the
we're in real
beginning,
we're in real life, and it's one thing to have things start off a certain way. It's one thing to wake up to him making you breakfast in the morning and for you to have a pathway of rose petals, leading to the dining room, the kitchen, the bedroom, the bathroom, whatever. But I mean, who has got time to pull petals off roses or to buy bags of rose petals to sprinkle all over the floor when you got to be in work in 45 minutes and you've got 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids, 2 kids, 1 kid, whatever, that you need to get on the school bus and you got to get your ass to work? Is that realistic? No.
No.
Would it be nice? Of
It can
course.
be. It can be like if you, of course, it's not going to be every day. I know
Right.
that. I mean, we all know that. So, of course, in the beginning of a relationship, romance usually feels effortless, you know. It's
Yes.
like it's just something that comes naturally at first, especially because you're trying to woo that person and you're trying to sweep them off their feet, or you
The
trying to like,
woo. Yes. The woo woo. You
right.
got
So
to keep the woo woo.
you're building that connection with that person, especially, because that is the bonding stage when you're beginning to date someone, or you're actually in a serious relationship with someone, or you're courting someone, whatever the case
Ding,
may
ding,
be.
ding, 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 ding. If I
That's
had the
you.
bell, I would ding it. You just said it. You said it. You're in the woo woo stage, and when you're in the beginning and you're courting that person, you have to keep courting that person. You have to keep the woo woo going. And of course, I'm not talking about every single day. It's not realistic for you to wake up to the rose petals and the flower on the breakfast tray with him bringing you breakfast in bed and you guys having hours and hours and hours to just, be alone and intimate with each other. That's just not realistic. It's not real life. You've got jobs you've got to get to, kids to get to school, things that need to be done, all of those things. But you should certainly be finding the time to be with one another and have those intimate moments. And I don't mean when I talk about intimacy, I don't mean only just the physical aspect of it. It's very intimate when you're in the beginning stages of a relationship to have deep conversations, to really get to know someone and to understand, what their love languages are. Like, how do they like to be treated? How do they like to resolve conflict and conversations and things like that? So, there's so many layers of this. Yes, I'm so glad that we're talking about it because you have to continue to do the things that brought you together in the first place. Otherwise, you things just grow stale. And then what do you become? Roommates?
Erica
Friends with
said,
with benefits?
we have a comment. Erica said, I always say become friends with that person first, and then the rest should follow. Of course, yes.
Oh
A
yeah.
friendship is very important at first. Of course, you want to build that bond with the other person. But as life goes on, as life
Right.
goes on, you
What
get busy with
happens?
work, like Brenna said. You get busy
Yeah.
with work, you get busy with kids, you get busy with bills, you get busy sometimes with stress, you get busy with life responsibilities. You
Right.
just, it's so many couples shift from a grand romantic gestures to nothing. And it
To
doesn't
nothing.
mean the romance is gone completely. It may just be expressed different. And we all have to remember we're different.
Right.
Everybody express themselves differently. So what
Absolutely.
you may require, Brenna, in a relationship of what you consider romantic might not be what another person consider romantic.
Of course.
We all have different things that, we, I'm sorry if y'all hear the background is but um we all have different ways of expressing ourselves. So we have
we
to
have
keep
different
that in mind.
ways we have different ways of expressing ourselves, but one of the things that I wanted to talk about is what happens when you guys just fall into the rut and the routine of life. And what I mean by that is you get so caught up in, okay, I have to be at work by 8:30, 9 o'clock, whatever your work day start is. your partner, goes off to do what they do for their career, for their job, how they earn a living. You get your kids to school. Let's say your kids participate in after school activities, whether it's sports, music, chorus, an instrument, dance, acting, modeling, whatever the case may be. You've got to get them to those lessons. You got to get them, there. So then you feel like you're an Uber or a Lyft driver getting your child back and forth to where they need to get to. Then by the time you finish with that activity and get them picked up and you're on your way home, next thing you know, it's, you know, 8 o'clock, 8:15. You still haven't had dinner yet. So now you're rushing to try to throw something together, to get a meal together, for your family so you guys can eat. Maybe you guys make a habit of sitting together and, eating at the table. I try to do that with my family, but it's just not always possible because everybody is on such different schedules. I have a son that's involved in football, and by the time he finishes with practice and actually gets home, it's sometimes almost 10 o'clock at night. But I can't wait until 10 o'clock at night to eat dinner. My other child can't wait until 10 o'clock at night, like to eat dinner. But I do make a point to sit with my older one and have conversation and talk about how your day went and things like that. But you get into these routines and these habits of following through with the things, the to-do lists, the honey do this, honey do that. I need to fix this. We need to fix that. You get into those ruts of the everyday life and the romance aspect of it. It's like, when have you had time to be romantic? When was the last time that you were affectionate? Do you guys leave out of the house? I mean, is it a standing rule that you don't leave the house without giving each other a kiss and saying I love you before you head out the door? I mean, I have that rule with my kids, before they leave the house, before they leave for school, unless I have to leave before them to go to work or an appointment, I get a hug and a kiss. I love you and have a good day. When they were taking the bus, I needed to get a text message to let me know that they were on the bus. And I, would text them back. All right, have a great day in school. Be great. My husband, we make sure that we give each other a hug and a kiss before we leave the house for the day, wish each other a good day. But, you know, is that just falling into the rut of the everyday? Is that really considered romance? Or is that just kind of, maintaining and keeping up the cordialness of the relationship? And yeah, you care for each other, you want to treat each other nice, and you want to treat each other properly. But is that really going above and beyond being romantic, or are you just at this point being cordial and going through the motions and formalities?
No, like I said, everybody has their own way of romance,
Yep.
and that can be part of romance. A
Mhm.
kiss every day. That can
Yep.
that can be a part of being romantic. That,
Absolutely.
that's one of my ways that, I love that expression.
Yes.
Um, but once you get caught up in life, and once the romance has kind of faded away, then what comes into play is, are you willing to intentionally keep the romance alive every day through doing the different things that you just mentioned, like kissing every day, maybe a text for some people, a text
Yes.
will do every day, maybe
Yes.
holding hands, like when we were talking on the phone, like you were telling me,
Yep.
holding hands,
Yep.
cooking together,
Yes.
um, or saying thoughtful things to one another. So, all
Mhm.
of those things are, to me, part of romance. Making
Yeah. I mean,
time for date nights intentionally. So, sometimes we get so caught up at work, and we're trying to bring the bread home, that, we're forgetting to set up those dates with our significant other. So, intentionally setting up date nights, maybe once a month or twice a month,
yeah.
whatever works for you. Other people find that romance fades because they're exhausted. They may be disconnected from the relationship, or begin taking each other for granted. Once you get too comfortable in a relationship, you can definitely that romance can definitely fade away, especially when you're getting comfortable.
I'm so glad that you said that. I was waiting for it to come up or wondering if somebody was gonna post about that in the comments. It is absolutely romantic, and it is absolutely still keeping up the romance to make sure that you give your significant other, a hug and a kiss, tell them I love you before you leave for the day, to go to work or before they go to work. I love it, when my husband will tell me if I'm going into the office and I'll be like, "Oh, babe, you look nice today. You look good." I'm like, "Thanks." Like I wasn't trying to dress up for any particular reason. I'm just going to work, to do my job. And yeah, I could put a little outfit together here or there, but it's nice, for him to notice those things and to tell me that I look good and to tell me that I'm beautiful. You still want to feel like that person is attracted to you, especially those of us that have been with our significant other, 10 plus, 15 plus years. You want to still feel like, they you still get the butterflies when you think about them. They still get that little twinge when they think about you. You want to keep that going. And like you were saying, Dominique, if you get too comfortable and get in the habit, and let's say you forget to say it on Monday, and you leave the door, and you walk out and you forgot to give them that kiss. I'm immediately sending a text message like, here's your kiss, babe. Sorry, and I'm sending an emoji or something. I forgot to give you your kiss. I'll make it up to you when I see you. After work, I was rushing and I was, running late because, like I said, things happen, life happens. You might be in a rush, but you don't want to get into a habit and a routine of making it easy to start taking each other for granted and just assuming that that other person is going to be there. Oh, they're just going to be there. Oh, they're there. There's no worries. My person is there. They're home. They've got it. They're this. They're that. You want to still acknowledge and recognize how much you appreciate them and how much value they bring to your life and how much value they bring to, the family that you all are raising together.
Absolutely. And I feel like the moment that you take your person for granted, you're just really opening up this space for them, to feel unwanted, unloved, So it's very important to not to take it's very important for you not to take your partner for granted, whether you're male or female. It don't matter,
Right.
because you're opening up that gate of where, people don't want usually to feel unwanted. I know I wouldn't, want to feel unwanted in a relationship. Like, if I feel like I'm not that woman for you, or you're
Yes.
showing me something different, then you're giving me the right away to be like, okay, I need to move on.
Mhm.
So, you don't want to make your person feel like that, because I mean, that's a very bad place to be. So I would say always keep an open communication. If something is going on in your life and you're having like difficulty, in your life with either financial issues or other issues that you have going on, maybe health issues, who knows? Whatever the case may be, have that open communication with your partner, because you want to let them know what's going on with you. You don't
Right.
want to give them the time to just assume that you're too busy doing something else with somebody else, or you just don't want them, period. You know, while you're over here trying to figure life out. So keep that
Exactly.
open communication so your partner will be aware of what's going on with you, because Honestly, nobody wants to be taken for granted. I don't think so.
No.
And I would say, um, romance often requires conscious effort from both parties, man
Yes.
or woman. And
Yes.
if not, it probably won't work at all. I'm just being straight up and honest. If you're not prioritizing that in your life, then your relationship will probably not work, because sometimes, like I said, it won't happen automatically, because we have so many life events that goes on in our lives that it's impossible for it to be romance every day, every day, unless
Right.
you're making the conscious decision to bring romance into the relationship. Even though you're going through something, bring it into the relationship as, again, a simple kiss. I love you.
Yes.
Have a great day, babe. You look
Yes.
good today. Like, you're so beautiful, or
Yes.
you're so fine. Like, just make each other's day.
Yeah, I mean, everything doesn't have to be, a grand gesture. You don't have to rent an airplane and get them to skywrite, "I love you forever." You don't have to, you know, go out and spend extravagant amounts of money on gifts and things like that in order to express your love for your significant other. I mean, I think honestly, putting in the effort to be consistent with something significant that's small, a small but yet significant detail, the I love yous, the kisses, the affection, the small shows of affection, the wrapping their arms around you while you're in the kitchen talking and having a conversation. Being affectionate in front of your kids. I think it's important that your kids see what healthy affection between two adults look
Oh,
like,
yes,
so
that's
they know
beautiful.
for themselves, what to be looking out for when they start getting into that aspect of dating. You want them to know that, hey, it's okay to express your feelings and to show, that you care for someone by doing these small things for them. I love when my husband just walks up to me and wraps his arms around me and kind of snuggles me a little bit and will be like, kids,
Or
you want to
rub
know why I
me,
love your mom?
rub me, rub me, baby.
Yep. You wanna know
We
why I love
have
your mom? And
Miss
he'll tell
Erica
them.
said, quality time, yes, it's a must. I strongly agree. Make time to prioritize with family, relationship, and me time. Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, like,
Agree.
when did romance really become optional?
I don't know. Like, I again, I don't know if it's just because, um, there's no handbook, and we've talked about this with a lot of other subjects and a lot of other topics. There's no handbook and there's no guide for how to do such and such and so and so. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
And
no
how has social media raised our expectations of love? Because remember that time that we were talking about how the beautiful dates and all this
yes,
beautiful things that goes on social media,
the
and
extravagant dates.
women, like a
Yes.
lot of women and a lot of men, are seeing these things, and believe it or not, some of them are like relationship goals. Remember we were talking
Yes.
about that? It's
Yes.
like a lot of people say relationship goals, like a lot of romantic things that you see on social media, and don't get me wrong, they are beautiful,
They are
but at the
beautiful.
same time, it's like that doesn't mean that it, like, it, for some reason romance had become a dollar sign.
Yes. And I'm
I'm
glad
just
that
gonna
you
be
brought
straight up.
yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up because, what we see on social media, a lot of times, a lot of these things, I mean, they are very extravagant, and not everybody has the pockets and the bank account to be able to keep up with that kind of extravagance and these intricate dates that we see on social media that we're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. There had to be like thousands of flowers in the room, and all the
Not
candles,
a thousand.
and he shut down the restaurant, and it was just them and the chef. Not everybody can afford that. So are people that don't have that kind of money to ball out, are they less entitled to have romance and a romantic love life? No, absolutely not.
I
It
think
just,
that's all good and cool if you like that's your lifestyle and that's what you do. I
yeah,
mean, but
if you can afford it, but not everybody can
to
afford that.
me, you know, I'm not looking up to that. Like it's cute. I'm gonna say it's cute. It's nice. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie, it's
yeah.
pretty. But to me, you don't have to do all that.
No,
You don't have to do all that.
you don't.
It be the simple littlest things for me, that to me is romantic. Because even though, and some people, oh, we have Rusa. Hey. Let's read her comment. It says, I feel like social media helps grow and destroy relationships depending on what the person. Oh, wait. Okay, there you go. I feel like social media helps grow and destroy relationships depending on what the person living their romantic life. Let's show this. What do you got to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's an excellent point, and
Yes. It
I think
can.
that
It can destroy it.
it really can, because people will have these expectations, and they think that they have to live up to this bar that they simply just can't compete with. It's like,
Or you'll never find a partner
exactly,
because
exactly.
you're trying to find something that realistically is not there.
It's not
And
attainable
everything
for
that's on
the
social
majority.
media, it's not what it seems. Some
Right.
people take things out of
Yes.
like, what's the word?
Out of context?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
A
you're
lot of
welcome.
people take things out of context, and it might just be like renting something, and now you think they own something. And I
Of
just feel
course.
like, no, it's part of the act, you know.
Yes.
It's part of the act.
Part of the act. Part
But
of the
then
act,
some
part of the
people think
show.
it's realistic and it's really not. So, okay. What does romance mean to you? Is it expensive gifts, quality time, physical affection? I love that one.
Yes.
And or small daily acts of love or just feeling appreciated.
So there's a couple of them there that hit the spot. I'm gonna draw a line through the expensive things, because that's not a requirement for me. If I happen
Me
to get
neither.
a nice gift, I mean that it's sweet and
So,
it's thoughtful,
yes.
but it's not in my criteria, and those are not the things to me that meet the most. I think, the small little daily things are the ones that are the sweetest, because that means like every single day you're thinking about me, and you're letting me know that you're thinking about me, even if you were busy and you had a busy day and I had a busy day. Even if we take 5 minutes and give each other 5 minutes, sum it up. What was your high, what was your low, what was the high point of your day, what was the low point of your day, is there anything that you want to talk about, that kind of thing. Physical affection, hugging, kissing, snuggling, cuddling, the hand holding, those are all things that I think are very sweet, and genuine acts of romance, and they don't cost anything. Doesn't cost anything. It's free.
Oh, that
It's
is
free,
the
y'all.
perfect part about it.
Yep.
And I love my physical touch. So
Yes.
it's like, I love that. If you've given me that every day, which can be done,
Oh, yes.
just a
Oh,
little
yes.
smack here and there.
Yes.
Not on my face or anything, but
Right.
from my waist down. I like that. I think it's romantic.
Yep.
But like I said, see, a lot of people um think about when they think about romance, they think it in different ways.
Right.
And yes, you do have some people that think of it of like, yeah, expensive gifts, which I think is, I mean, everybody has their own preference, but to me, that's just like, it don't really matter to me. Like,
Yeah,
if you buy me an
it's not my
expensive
preference.
gift,
It's not my preference.
you can buy me expensive gifts all the time and never show me affection.
Exactly. If you are just buying me expensive gifts all the
I don't
time,
think
but
so.
there's never any physical touch. There's
Hmm.
never any, words of affirmation like acknowledging that, you love my laugh, or you love it when I laugh because when I laugh it makes you laugh, or I'm beautiful, or you love my smile, or I have beautiful eyes, or I look nice today. Like, you can buy gifts all day long, but if you're not doing those other things, like, the gifts don't mean anything. That's just material stuff that can just hang out in the closet, honey. Like that, what am I going to do with that? That's not going to keep me company. I'm not
Yes,
going to have a conversation with that.
absolutely. So I think when romance fade away and you let it fade away, um, to me, that's like you're simply stopping the effort,
Yes. And I think
you know.
everybody knows and they have that feeling when it's starting to fade away. And the problem is not necessarily when it's starting to fade away. That should be the alarm and that should be the red flag that's going off saying, hey, 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 I got to put, more effort and put more attention into this relationship and into my partner. But if you're getting those flags and they're going off and you don't care, and you intentionally don't do anything to make those changes to bring that romance back to the surface, then you've given up. And then what do you have left? I mean, you're back where where you started. Yeah, you're at friends, but at what good of friends are you at this point? Because I know my good friends wouldn't treat me like that.
Oh my God, I have to post this one. Wait, wait, read that right there. Oh, girl, we need the bell for that, for this one. This comment
Yes.
right here, bell, bell,
Yes.
bell. Some people like to compare, but not appreciate what they have. Ooh,
Mm,
girl.
mm. Mm. Facts.
Yes, baby. And especially when compared to your last relationships. Well, this person did this, and this person did
Right.
that, and this person did this. But what are you doing?
Yes.
What are you doing to make your relationship better? You're saying what the
Exactly.
next person have. Why are you comparing your new partner to your old person?
Yep.
Why?
Big
Why
mistake.
are you doing that?
Big mistake.
Why are you comparing your ex to your new person?
Big mistake. And that happens way too often, way, way, way too often, and I think it's, one of the biggest things that sabotages relationships early on without the relationship ever really having a chance, because you're comparing your new person to something that your old situation or your old relationship was doing. Well, obviously that old relationship really wasn't all that great if you've moved on from it and now you're in a new relationship. So
Exactly.
why are you still
Exactly.
focusing in on what somebody used to do for you and y'all
Don't
not even
focus
together?
don't focus on that. Focus on how you can make your relationship better.
Right.
Focus on what you're lacking or where are you lacking at to make your relationship spark even better than the last one.
Yes.
How about
Yes.
taking your past situations and seeing where you fell short and fill in those blanks next time?
I think that's a great
And
idea.
maybe that other person that you're with, you will spark some fire up in them.
Mhm. Right, because
What
everybody
about that?
everybody everybody loves to feel appreciated and everybody loves to feel wanted. There's not a person on here that can say that they don't appreciate that and that doesn't make them feel good. And if you can sit here and say that it makes no difference to you, then I'm not a mental health professional, but I would definitely put some work into trying to sort that out because it's a natural, human nature to want to be loved and to want to be appreciated and cared for, and you want to receive that, from someone else. We're not meant to be alone. Yeah, we can be. Of course, we can be alone, but I don't think that that's, our purpose. Isn't just to
I
walk
don't
this
think
life
so
alone.
either. I think some people just desire to be alone and they have been accustomed to that.
Yep,
But I really feel like love is shared.
it is.
Um, I do want to ask this question. Have your expectations of romance changed over the years from when you were younger?
Yes.
Mine's too.
Yeah.
I feel like growth really made a difference in my life just because
Same,
it's some
same,
things that I didn't
same.
really appreciate in my younger years that today I really do appreciate.
Yeah,
And it's like it's totally different for me now because I see it from a whole different point of view. Like
right.
remember I used to say like when I was younger it was like either this way or no way.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm more open, of course, because I'm older and I've really learned throughout the years that everybody is different. Like Miss Erica just said, um, she said here, I agree, everyone is not the same.
Right.
So I really like that because we're different. And like I said, now I understand more of people languages and the way they express themselves and the way differently from back then because back then I didn't give nobody no room for anything for real.
Right. It was your
um
way or the highway. You
it was
needed
my
or you
way or the
or you
highway.
or you were gone. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
appreciate this more now because I really love it. I'm really loving it because I'm not letting just stuff go just for the heck of it. Like I really appreciate my relationships, whether if it's uh, a relationship with another man or my friends or my family. It's like
Yeah.
I appreciate relationships now more than ever because I see, you know, I really value it now. And
Absolutely.
who should, oh, I have another question. Who should be responsible for keeping the romance alive? Because most people think it's women. Do
You know
you
what?
feel, or no, no, no,
Most
no.
people think it's
Most people
men.
think it's man.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Most
what I
people
read on the survey. Most people
yeah.
think it's men.
Most people think that it's men, but I don't agree with that. I think it's up to both of you. I think you both have a responsibility in it, in being romantic and helping to keep the romance alive. And
Yes,
I think I was explaining to you like there are certain things like that my husband likes to do, and that's like his thing. So I'm like, okay, you go ahead and you can run with that, but this is what I'm gonna do. Like this is what my contribution is gonna be. So you got that little piece handled, or maybe I'll switch it up, on you, and I'll fly you off I'll fly you
Oh,
out.
that's
I'll,
so
I'll get you
sweet.
I'll get you flued out for the weekend, to celebrate an occasion, every now and again, and kind of switch it up a little bit. But yeah, I don't think that it falls on the man. I don't think that it's just his responsibility to have to come up with it, because that's putting all the work and all the effort on him, and you're leaving it up to him and putting it in his hands. And I think it's in both of y'all's hands. And
I think it's
I
on
think
both sides too. I think men enjoy the attention as well.
they absolutely enjoy the attention. They absolutely enjoy the attention. It strokes their ego. It makes them feel wanted. It makes them feel needed. And that's something that's within a man. That's a man thing. Women like to nurture. Women like to comfort. Men like to
Right.
feel wanted. They like to feel needed. They like to
Respect
feel
it.
like they that respect, and they like to feel like they can, solve an issue and resolve a problem, and to be fixers. While we like to, cuddle and nurture and, you know, be soft.
All right, y'all ready for this one because we're going to have let's do some true and false before we end this thing tonight.
All right, I'm with it.
Y'all ready?
Yep.
Okay, let's do the first one. Romance doesn't have to cost money. True.
True.
True, true, true. We said that. Okay. Put it in the chat if you think it's true or false. Men are expected. Oh, we already said this one. Men are expected to be more romantic than women. We already talked about that one.
Yep, we did.
If romance disappears, the relationship is in trouble. True.
True. True.
It's true. It's
Mhm.
true. And, for a minute, it could be okay. But no, it's probably coming.
That's when the
And
Whoopi Goldberg voice comes out. Molly, you in danger, girl. You in danger, girl.
you in danger.
You in danger.
Yes. Consistency is more romantic than grand gestures. True to me.
True.
I love consistency.
Yes.
I do. I really love
Because it's
consistency.
effort. Consistency is effort. Anybody can pull off a grand gesture. I mean, anyone can do something grand and grandiose, and there's planners for that. There's people for that. But the consistency is something that's the work you have to literally put in
You put
every day.
in. You put in. So, doesn't
Yep.
it make you feel appreciated to know how much work somebody is putting into, you know, just loving on you?
It does, it does, and
Love that.
it'll make you go that extra mile. It'll make you, go ahead and put in that time. Like, even if you are absolutely exhausted and you're so tired, you'll still, want to give your person, that time. You had a long day, they had a long day. Like, unwind together, like, decompress the day together. That's what I like to do. I definitely like to decompress my day, talk about what happened, what was going on with work, and he knows all my people, and he's familiar with names. He might know them by face, but he'll know them by name. So we'll have conversations and talk about it. And it's the same, like, with his job, when we have conversations and we talk about things, or we get into our conversations about kids or decisions that we need to make upcoming for them and things like that. But then we turn the conversation, to us. And that's very important
Yes.
to have that.
And for the men out there, let me know. Do any men out there enjoy physical touch? Do you all feel like that's romantic from your significant other,
I
your
would hope that they
girlfriend?
do. I would hope that they would think so.
I love physical touch.
I do too.
I do. And I think I said that already. But anyways, um, Do you have any final thoughts for tonight?
Um, my final thought would just be, when we talk about being intentional, we've had conversations surrounding this topic before around other things, not necessarily focused on romance, but with all the things that you do, like in your life, whether it's moving towards a career or advancing in your career, or you have an entrepreneurial mindset and you want to launch and open a business, you want to be intentional with all of the decisions and the choices and all that you make when you're dating. I mean, when you're young, of course, you're just dating to, you're dating to have fun. But, as you mature and as you grow, you're dating with intention because you really are hoping to find that one that you can build a life with. And if you want kids and want to have a family, have a family with. Sometimes we do it a little out of order, but that's okay. That's fine.
Out of order.
It's not written in stone. Um, but but you just want to, that you want to do things with
Think I'm
intention.
guilty for that one.
I'm guilty of it too, but it's okay. It is okay. It is absolutely all right because it worked out the way that it was supposed to in the end. So
And I'm
yes,
so glad that you all tuned in with us tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in to Virtual Conversations.
yes, we
I hear
appreciate
the
it.
echo. I'm sorry. Okay. I don't hear it anymore. Okay, so I do want to say this. Romance doesn't have to be extravaganza, extravagant, to be meaningful. I feel like for some people, like I said, it could be, a simple kiss, flowers. For others, it could be just being heard. I want to be heard. I want to be understood, supported, chosen. It's just different things.
You want to be
Everybody don't have the
seen.
same
I
thing.
think people want to be seen. Men want to be seen in their relationship, and women want to be seen in their relationship. You want to know that, you see me, you hear me, you get
Right.
me. You want that. Yeah, I wanted to throw
Right.
that in there.
Yes. So, you know, are we recognizing romance when it shows up, or are we just like ignoring it? You know, um, and we're going to continue to have conversations like this because everyone is thinking, conversations that a lot of us think about where we're not talking about it. And I think it's very important to, talk about it because you'd be surprised of how much you can win and by understanding other people, or you don't have to have the
And
same
and
opinion,
just by having a conversation,
and
like
just by having a
as I
conversation.
said in the
Yeah.
beginning of the podcast, like this whole thing stemmed from a conversation that you and I were having yesterday. And then we done built a whole topic. Just having a regular everyday, two girlfriends having a chat, having a conversation and turn it into a whole topic. Like we can't be the only ones that, are thinking about this stuff. Let's bring it to the platform,
And there
open
you
it
go.
up and see what
We
others
got
have to
it.
say.
You got it. And we'll see y'all next time. You all, thank you so much for joining us today and have a beautiful night.
Good
We
night,
love y'all.
everybody. Thank you so
Good
much.
night.
Bye.